Hi, I'm Mary from Art Makes Life Merry, and I have been teaching elementary art for about 25 years now. And today I wanted to go into detail a little bit more about my art class rules and my consequences and rewards. So, my students are between the ages of kindergarten and third grade. So I like to give them a handout on the first day of art class that is a picture of the rule. So each rule has its own little picture. So rule number one is to follow directions. Rule number two is to stay in your seat. Rule number three is to raise your hand. Rule number four is to show respect. Keep hands, feet, and objects to yourself. And of course, also using manners, saying please and thank you. And then the last rule number five is to use quiet voices. So I actually give the students a handout just like this for them to color in on the first day. So I will try to link to those in the description below so that you could get a printable if you would like. And I wanted to talk about the consequences if students don't follow the rules. So on the first day I explain those. Usually students will get a reminder first, and especially in kindergarten, we would get several reminders about the rules. And most of it is just being a good listener. The next one is a warning. So that's just telling the student that they have a warning. So that is just a verbal reminder. Usually that's best done quietly right next to the student. So if I can find a quiet moment to just walk up next to them and just say, we need to be listening to the story right now. Or please make sure you keep your hands to yourself. Just done quietly next to the child is going to be so much better to just show respect for the classroom and to show respect for the rules and just let things flow more smoothly in the room so that no one feels like they've been put on the spot, right? So there are times when you're in the middle of speaking and when you just have to give the verbal reminder or the verbal warning in front of everyone. So we try not to do that, and often it's more effective when you don't have to do it that way, because just a quiet reminder can be just so much more effective. Another consequence could be sitting alone, kind of like a timeout. I usually have it as a working alone time because we have such a limited amount of time in art and we're usually so busy that they should take their artwork with them if they're moving to another spot in the room to just work alone and concentrate and kind of think about, the rules and what happened. But another way that we avoid the consequences and avoid the misbehavior is by having things well planned out, keeping the students busy and actively involved in the lesson. The next one might be a plan of action or a stop sheet. So that would be writing down what you did wrong and how you can do better next time. And then I would take that sheet and then try to call the parents at home or just send it home with the child in their take-home folder. And then usually the final consequence for any really big problems would be, of course, the principal's office. And they would bring with them a referral or a note that explains what happened in art. So I do have like a personal like checklist of, the behaviors that might happen in art, and then also rules that would have been broken, so that I could just quickly check it off, maybe make some comments that the student was given several reminders and warnings before being sent down to the principal's office, and then the student would have to take that with them to the principal. So this happens very rarely. Usually I give, quiet reminders, personal reminders, and maybe once or twice a year a warning. My students just have really fabulous behavior, and there are very few times when I need to actually use any of my consequences. I'm just very lucky, and we have our systems in place, and everybody can see that there's a reason for the systems, and things just move very smoothly for me. And it's also good to remember that students aren't really misbehaving on purpose for the most part. They're just confused about what's going on. They might feel that they're being misunderstood, or someone maybe misheard something. So if there are any problems between two students, generally I would pull them aside quietly. Again, we don't need everybody's input and everybody watching and seeing what's going on. So I like to take the students off to the side, usually close to the door works well for me, because that's away from everybody else listening, and then I can face my body so that I'm seeing the rest of the class, and then their bodies are, with their back to the class. So generally, if the students are not getting along with each other, it's just a matter of a miscommunication. Somebody was trying to make a joke and the other person didn't appreciate it, something like that. So I usually just have the students apologize to each other. It doesn't really matter who says that they're sorry first, but 9 times out of 10 I can diffuse the situation and put an end to it just by having the students apologize to each other. So that works out really well. And I try to not be super rigid about the consequences being in order. If there is a really big problem, we might have to skip right down to working alone. Another thing we can do is have silent art time. So, if it's getting too noisy and I like to put music on while students are working. If we can't hear the music, then I turn it off and we have silent art time. So that can also help, and that can also be used as a consequence, because students really do like to be able to talk quietly to each other, and they do enjoy also listening to the music. Okay, so rewards. Most of the time, like I said, my students are very, very well behaved, and I don't have to spend a lot of time on the consequences. And part of that is praise. So at any point during the lesson when I see students are working hard, I see beautiful artwork, I see wonderful behavior, I notice somebody complimenting someone else. Anytime I see anything, kindness, I always try to praise, even if it's, a one-on-one, oh, thank you for being so kind, what a nice thing you did for your friend. Or even if it's, to the whole class, wow, look at what a fantastic job, so-and-so is doing. They're really trying their best. I love how quietly this person is working. That is another thing too. Wow, at the end of the school year, when kids are coming in and they are just so ready for summer, I have found that one of the very best things to do is to name names of praise. So, say a student's name and say, oh wow, that person is being so quiet. I love how still that person is sitting. I love that you have eyes on me. Use their names. Sometimes I end up naming the whole class before I get everyone's attention. Generally you can just say 2 or 3 names in the beginning of class and everybody will be looking at you. But towards the end of the school year, I'm going to have to get through the whole list, and that's okay. Then I've got everybody's attention and we can get moving. I, of course, also have my Mona Lisa quiet symbol. And it's just sometimes towards the end of the year, it just isn't as effective as it was in the beginning of the year. So that's something that I really noticed, and I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for next year. And so for the Mona Lisa, everybody sits quietly and eyes are on the teacher. And so we practice that, and again, that is something that we praise all year long, so that students are they're in that, in the habit. Okay, so besides praise, some other things we might do is get a little hand stamp. I've tried that, where I just have these cute little stamps. It might be a heart or a bird or a frog or a fish, or just all kinds of cute little pictures. Little tiny stamp, a scented stamp pad that is also washable, and just go around the class at the end of class and just give everybody a little stamp on their hand. Another thing might be prizes like a sticker or a pencil or a bookmark. We also might play a quick game. I love the Guess the Picture game, where I choose one student and they come up to the board, the dry erase board, and they draw something, and they draw just a little bit at a time, and then the rest of the students in the class try to guess what they're drawing. So they draw little by little, and the other students in the class raise their hands to guess what their picture is. Kids love that game. It's so fun for them to come up and be like the teacher and do the drawing part. So that could be a little reward. And sometimes we do special projects where we just get to make something for fun, and something maybe for the seasons, and get to take that home right away. We of course listen to music a lot during our class, and that is a reward. And then sometimes we might also watch a video during our class. I love the Bernstein Bears videos. They are 12 minutes long, and sometimes, before, let's say, the week before a break, or the day of Halloween, when kids are real excited and need a little bit of distraction maybe, or something to quiet them down. Putting on a little Bernstein Bears video while they're finishing up their project is fine. No one's going to sit there and just watch the screen. Everybody's going to finish up their work, and then when they are finished, they can watch. I just love the Bernstein Bears because they have just wonderful stories, and they don't go real quickly, and they're just relaxing and good morals. So that's just one of my personal recommendations. All right, so I hope this was very informative for you and helpful. And I just wanted to go into detail a little bit more about my rules and consequences and rewards. And I just hope you have a really fabulous day. And I will continue to make some more videos about some more tips and techniques for being successful at teaching art. So have a really great day, and thank you so much.